Hi, this is Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show, and we're the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind at a time. Well, for the record, this is for Google and YouTube's benefit and their algorithms. I completely support the official narrative, in which the official narrative states that a 64-year-old portly man could hold a heavy machine gun in one hand, shoot down at a severe angle, and then he could feed in the belt to that machine gun. And of course, these bullets popping out will not burn the carpet because they automatically cool because they're magic bullets, just like one of the magic bullets that killed John Kennedy in 1963. Okay, now that we've dispensed with the nonsense to get past the censors, let's get down to it. Murren and Soros are persons of interest in the mass murder at the Mandalay Bay. Murren, it has been established, is on the Homeland Security Council. Homeland Security was conducting a live active shooter drill during the weekend in question. And also Murren has ties with his financial donations to the Southern Poverty Law Center, which created Antifa, which is a George Soros organization. I've reported numerous times now, prior to the shooting, that Antifa was associated with MS-13 and ISIS has taken credit, and you get the idea. I could go on and on and on, but really the red smoking gun, here comes the red flames, is in when Murren dumped his stock just prior to the shooting. That's right. Saw the same behavior in the Gulf oil spill with a man named Peter Sutherland, who coordinated the dumping of stock with BP, Goldman Sachs, Transocean, and Halliburton. All the primary players in the Gulf oil spills conspiracy. If you ever want to look that up and read the detail of that, I wrote a 7-part series called The Great Gulf Coast Holocaust. You simply go to the search engine at the Common Sense Show and put that in, and you'll look and say, oh my gosh, it's the same game plan that we're seeing here today with regard to the Mandalay Bay massacre in Vegas. To repeat, if you want to read more detail, and people who say, Dave, you don't give the links here. That's right, because I cross-reference to my website. That's where the links are. Go to Murren and Soros are co-conspirators. You look at that article that's on the Common Sense Show, and right now at this moment of this recording, it's also #1 up on Steve Quayle, and it's made its way through about 1,300 websites earlier this morning. And look at that and tell me that you don't see a clear pattern and we're not starting to put names and faces behind this conspiracy. I will not, if I have anything to do with this, let this degenerate into an argument about forensics. It's been established. There were multiple shooters. There were multiple shooting sites, other hotels. YouTube has removed videos that support these narratives. I've seen the videos before they were taken down. So when we look at the situation here, we clearly can see this was a conspiracy. Now we're putting the names and faces behind it like we didn't do with John Kennedy for 25 years. Well, that's it for the Common Sense Show. Thanks so much for joining us. We are brought to you by Numana Foods. Numana is the very best in storable food. Find out why. Go to numana.com/Hodges. Look at the grab-and-go bucket. If ever you have to bug out the 72 meals that are portable of restaurant-quality food, great tasting stuff, I would really encourage you to take a hard look at what your food supplies are, because you can't knock on many people's door and expect help when the crises hit. And yes, we're going to get hit with everything, including the kitchen sink. Go to numana.com/Hodges. Use the coupon code Hodges9. Make your order today and give yourself and your family the peace of mind knowing that you've done all that you can do to prepare for what's coming. Please share this on your social media. And also, we'd encourage everyone to subscribe who hasn't already done so, because we'll keep you updated as news breaks. Hi, this is Dave Hodges of the Common Sense Show, and we're the show that's freeing America, one enslaved mind at a time. Censorship, particularly Vegas censorship, reveals who your enemies are. When people don't want you to know the truth, they are obviously obfuscating the facts for a very defined reason. And in the case of the Vegas mass murder, what I call the Mandalay Bay Massacre, when we look at anyone who is completely and deliberately censoring facts, they have proven themselves to be the enemy of the people. And I'm going to develop this theme right here in this particular broadcast. In the moments following, and I mean within a couple of short hours following the massacre, Scott Bennett had got his hands on information and video information that showed multiple shooters at the scene. Scott Bennett, if you don't know who he is, former PSYOPs officer of the U.S. Army, advised top-level government officials. Scott published this on YouTube, and within moments, YouTube took it down. You know, here's why every American should be outraged at YouTube's actions, who are acting on behalf of Google. Why can't the public make up their mind what they see? Why does Google and YouTube get to be the final judge, jury, and executioner of what will be publicly viewed? Don't the public have the maturity and the common sense to look at something and say, I believe it or not? Is this how YouTube and Google deal with dissenting opinion? Well, it gets deeper than that. We looked at shootings at two other hotels at the same time that the Mandalay Bay Massacre was going on. And what we find here is those videos were immediately taken down by YouTube and banned. Why? Why? If we have the truth coming out that there are other facts that need to be examined and investigated, then why should you ban that information? If you've got proof there was other shootings going on, then who is the great liar? The people who are reporting simply what's on tape? Not hearsay, on tape? Or would it be the people who want to suppress the tape? And then you have to ask yourself the question, why? Why would Google participate in the obfuscation of the obvious facts that this was a massive conspiracy involving elements within the U.S. government and corporate empires, including MGM Grand that owns Mandalay Bay Hotel? George Soros is clearly involved, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and their affiliated Antifa. And Antifa's announcement that they were going to start a civil war. Their words convict them. Why should this ever be banned when it's in the public domain and verifiable? Well, we're in the midst of a Tet Offensive. And we're in the midst of, we're going to see a lot of these going on. And I'm telling you, I have clear information from the same sources that brought you the same revelation that I made prior to the shooting, that Antifa was partnered with MS-13 and another terrorist organization called ISIS, who took credit for the Mandalay Bay Massacre. Where's this leading? I don't know. Maybe we should ask Google, since they seem to be so interested in suppressing everything. And this is why I would suggest that everyone begin to write to Google and say, why are you withholding information on affiliates that you can control? Why? Why can't people look at the proof and make up their own mind? It's a good question to ask. Let's push Google out into the open and force them to defend their actions. Because if they want to live by their moniker, don't be evil, well then don't act evil. Well, that's it for the Common Sense Show. And we are brought to you by Numana Foods. And I'm telling you, folks, hard days are coming. How many of these massacres can we endure before you're going to need to worry about food, water, guns, gold, ammo, and medicine? Well, I can help you with the food. And if you don't have storable food or enough storable food, now is the time. Actually, yesterday was the time. But we can't look back and cry over spilt milk. We can only go forward and do what we can do. But you need to do it now. Go to numana.com/Hodges. That's again, numana.com/Hodges. Use the coupon code Hodges9 to take 5% off. and we will get this out to you immediately with the best quality tasting, the best product delivery. Everything about Numana is first class, and they beat all the other competition to death over quality. Numana.com/Hodges, coupon code Hodges9. Please share this with your social media. We need to call Google out for their actions. And if you're new to the Common Sense Show, please subscribe and we'll keep you updated.
And I am going to be providing you an update this afternoon on the Route 91 Music Festival mass murder. To date, we have run down well more than 1,000 leads in this investigation. While some of it has helped create a better profile into the madness of this suspect, we do not still have a clear motive or reason why. I can assure you that we are aware of all aspects of this case, to include the rumor, innuendo, and supposition by many in the public. And I get it. We all want answers. We have looked at everything, literally, to include the suspect's personal life, any political affiliation, his social behaviors, economic situation, and any particular or potential radicalization that so many have claimed. We're also aware, of course, that ISIS has repeatedly claimed responsibility, which today I can tell you that we have no known nexus to. We have been down each and every single one of these paths trying to determine why, to determine who else may have known of these plans. We will continue to investigate each and every one of these areas, as well as all the tips and leads that continue to come in. We must remain focused solely on truth and fact. It's very easy to assume. We're collectively working with the FBI and many other partners to try to get there. At this time, I'll tell you again that we have no credible information to report to you as to motivation. We will not stop, and we'll keep you up to date as anything develops on that. I will tell you, though, that all of the rumor and speculation has not been helpful to our investigation. In the past, terror attacks or mass murder incidents, motive was made very clear in most of those cases, by a note that was left, by a social media post, by a telephone call that was made, by investigators mining computer data. Today, in our investigation, we don't have any of that uncovered. I wish we did. We will and are continuing to investigate with great tenacity and hope to arrive at an answer. We reported in the media yesterday that we found the missing Hyundai Tucson with Nevada plate 114 Baker 40. It was in the Reno residence that we did a search warrant on. Just a communication issue that we didn't know about it when we reported it to you. Most of you also now know the name of the Mandalay Bay security guard who you've all named in the media, and I'll just reaffirm to you that Jesus Campos is a true hero. I can tell you now just a little bit more that I know about what he did that particular day. We now know that he was dispatched to what they call a door alarm on the 32nd floor. He went up there to investigate the open door, and as he was doing his job diligently, he came under fire by our suspect. As you know, he was struck in the leg. He turned around and retreated. He notified his dispatch, which was absolutely critical to us knowing the location, as well as advising the responding officers as they arrived on that 32nd floor. I can tell you that this was a remarkable effort by a brave and remarkable man. I want to say today that I don't think we've done a good enough job recognizing him and his actions, and for that I apologize. I just want to take the moment and clear the record that he's an absolute hero. There's also a couple of questions that have continued to come in regards to this tannerite and what materials that we had. You all know we've given you this information about where we found the tannerite in the vehicle. Tannerite is a binary explosive, meaning that it's composed of two substances. We also had a significant amount of that tannerite as a finished product, and we had two chemicals of ammonium nitrate and aluminum powder that, when combined, make the finished product of tannerite. Sorry to tell you, I don't know what he was going to do with all of that tannerite. I wish I did, and we continue to try to find that information out. There's a couple of things before I take any questions from you, however. First and foremost is that our partner, Special Agent in Charge, Aaron Rouse, has some information about a new media plan that the FBI has launched, and I would like him to explain exactly what that is. Mr. Rouse?
Thank you, Undersheriff. I'm very pleased to announce that Clear Channel Local here in Las Vegas has partnered with the Metropolitan Police and with the FBI to reach as many people as we possibly can. We're starting an information campaign seeking true knowledge as to what happened in the events leading up to and involving this incident. The billboards will be displayed throughout the Las Vegas area. It will have the badge of the Metropolitan Police and the seal of the FBI on it, along with the terms, if you know something, say something, along with a phone number, which we've agreed will be 1-800-CALL-FBI. This is critical for us. As the Undersheriff mentioned, we have not stopped, we will not stop until we have the truth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rouse. And next up, I would like to have the chair of the Clark County Commission, Steve Sisolak, come up and provide you some additional information as well.
Thank you, Undersheriff, and I appreciate you all being here. And in the past 4 days, we've had numerous names assigned to this event, this tragedy. And for official purposes and in the future, after consultation with the coroner, our first report is coming out this afternoon. The official name that which this tragedy will be referred to will be the number 1 October. So the digit 1 October will be the official name listed on all reports and investigations moving forward on this incident. Thank you all very much.
With that, I'll take a couple of questions.
Is there any indication? Can you expand on the misinformation? There's a lot of rumors online, and how that may hinder any proper investigation.
Yeah, listen, I mean, we have a responsibility as law enforcement organizations to run down each and every lead, to debunk them, to determine whether there's any validity to those leads. And so, as I told you, we have a significant number of those. The investigative effort is massive. We continue to do it, but rumor and supposition doesn't help. And so those true tips and leads of things that people know are imperative to this investigation. But just because you think you know something doesn't necessarily mean that you do. If you have factual information that you can provide us in regards to this investigation, it would be helpful to us. Thank you.
I understand that motive is still unclear. However, can you confirm that investigators, while recovering these numerous electronic devices and cameras, they may have recovered a video in which the suspect may have alluded to his motive, or any type of video regarding the shooting?
I'm not aware that we've recovered any such video.
Have you been able to resolve the question of whether he had any help, or whether there was an accomplice, or can you eliminate the question of whether you are specifically trying to find somebody else?
Okay, the question is, can we confirm whether there's an accomplice or not? I can tell you this: we're very confident that there was not another shooter in that room. What I cannot confirm to you today, and what we continue to investigate, is whether anybody else may have known about this incident before he carried it out. You're going to have to speak up. I'm sorry.
Concerning the question of tannerite, what it's being used for, was there any indication that anything was found in his vehicles or his home, that there was a chance this guy was putting together IEDs with shrapnel, with containers, or anything else like this, or was this just a standardized package that's normally sold?
Right. The question is about the tannerite that we found and whether we believe he was trying to make it into an IED. I can tell you we found it in the condition that it was, and it did not resemble an IED.
I don't know if you guys talked about this or not, but in the video of the Mandalay, have you reviewed all of that to see if somebody else came with him, or all those days prior?
The question is, have we reviewed the video from the Mandalay Bay? I can tell you that there's voluminous amounts of video from many different locations. We have reviewed it, and we have not located any other person that we believe to be a suspect at this point.
Was there any indication that someone else used his card key to get into his room while he left the hotel?
Question is do we know that anybody else used a room key for the hotel room, and we do not believe that happened.
Undersheriff, do we know?
Can you comment on whether the shooter had any mental health diagnoses, whether the reports he's taking Valium or another medication?
The question is about the medical status. That is another aspect of the investigation we're keenly interested in, and we're continuing to investigate that.
Are you looking at whether he was...
Go ahead, sir.
On the timeline, so the security officer tells you on the timeline that he was shot at 10:18. That's when he tells you he was shot. When was he shot?
I can give you the exact time off the timeline off camera. I don't remember. I don't have it in front of me as we sit here. I'll be clear about the timeline, right? What the sheriff and I have both explained to you at different times is information that we had initially. We went back and reconciled it with what was on the body-worn camera as well as what was in our computer-aided dispatch, the CAD data. And so all of that timeline that we represented to you is what we have to the best of our knowledge today. I'm sorry, I cut you off, ma'am.
Okay, I was just wondering, are you looking into the question of whether he was kind of obsessed with the month of October since he bought the guns in October and his lawsuit was dismissed in October?
I can tell you that our investigation is focused, I'm sorry, the question is, are we looking specifically at the month of October? The answer to that is we are looking at every aspect from birth to death of this suspect in this case.
So just to go back to the security guard, are you able to tell us what time the alarm went off on the 32nd floor and why it was going off? And is it at all possible that the security guard was shot before Paddock was firing into the crowd?
So you have a two-part question: is what time did the suspect go up, or I'm sorry, the security officer arrive to check the door, and why? The question, or the answer is that the door alarm went off, indicating that the door was ajar. So the officer was dispatched up to check that specific time. We have it. I don't know what it is. And I'm sorry, your second question?
Is it possible that he was shot before Paddock was even firing?
The question is, was the security officer shot before the suspect was shooting into the crowd? The answer to that is yes, we believe he was shot. That we believe that he was shooting into the crowd, and then the security officer was shot during that event. I'm taking two more. Go ahead.
The percentage of injuries, I know we had discussed this earlier. Do we know how many people were actually shot versus the trampling injuries or anything else?
That's a question that you're going to, question is how many people were shot versus other trampling injuries. As you well know, the number that we continue to look at both for dead and injured, and we still have obviously critically injured people in the hospitals. You notice I'm not giving you a number because that number continues to change every day. People are being discharged from the hospital, and I'll let the coroner answer those questions because he's best provided to give you the information in regards to whether somebody received a gunshot wound or another type of wound.
Just to clarify a report about a key being used, his room key being used when his car was out of the garage. Did that happen?
The question is, was his vehicle being used while his room key? Was his vehicle out of the garage while his room key was being used? I'm not aware of that information, sir. No. Last question.
I thought you might address this at the beginning, so do it at the end. Well, maybe 22,000 people have belongings there. When are they going to get it back? When are they going to, maybe the FBI and Metro can tell us?
Yeah, so we've answered that question a couple of times, Ken, but the question is, when are people going to be able to get their property back? As you can imagine, we have thousands of pieces of property that were left on the field that particular day. We are diligently working to find how it is that we can appropriately document the evidence where it lay and catalog it, collect it, and then find the mechanism to get that back to the people that actually own it. I believe we're still probably about 4 days away from allowing that to happen. And the final thing I'd just like to close out by saying to you that it's really imperative that the listening public have a very clear understanding that there are still a number of people out there that know that something looked out of place. Someone may have been acting suspiciously that night or in the years prior, the months prior. Somebody that may have seen something or knows something, much to like the FBI SAC mentioned. If you know something, you need to say something. Please provide that information to us at that 1-800-CALL-FBI, and we'll continue to update you as this investigation continues. Thank you very much.